So today's question comes from Mike, and it's a very good question. Mike has asked, Matt, how can I start my own paid newsletter? Okay, so a paid newsletter, what do I mean by that? So it could be an email newsletter. If the quality of the information was good enough, you could charge for emails. Okay, you could if you had really good content. Normally it's going to mean a physical newsletter being sent out in the mail. At least that's what I've been doing for years. And many of the biggest information marketing businesses, they all have newsletters. I love newsletters, and the reason why I love it is because it's continuity income, meaning every single month credit cards get billed, money comes in, and it's predictable. It adds consistency and stability to your business. So let me talk to you about how do you get your own newsletter as far as content, launching it, and getting a lot of people to subscribe so you make decent money from it. So the first thing you should know is you need to be in a niche where you can have continuous information, where your audience can never know everything. So the niche I'm in is business training advice, and there's always new information. There could be a new advertising source, a new technique, and there's so many principles which we can talk about that never change. We've had the newsletter, which I'm referring to, the Mode one. We have several of them, but we've been doing that now since, I think, 2012. So it's been more than 5 years, and month after month, we've sent these newsletters out all around the world. I must have spent, at this point, well over $500,000 on printing and postage. But we've been sending these out for years, and we never run out of content. You might be in a different niche. Maybe you're in the health and fitness or weight loss niche. That's another great niche because people they buy up that information. There's always more information. If you're in a niche like cooking, there's always new recipes. If you're in a sport niche, there's always something to talk about. So make sure you're in a niche where there's always something new that you can be talking about and that you can be sending out to people. So the second thing is launching your newsletter. So I always recommend you either do a free trial where people can try it out for a minimum of 1 month for free, meaning you might even just pay for postage, but definitely the newsletter alone, that part's free, but you might consider paying for postage. Or it could even be more than a month. Dan Kennedy, for example, with Glazer Kennedy, a big information marketing business, they were doing a 90-day free trial. I don't know if they still are. I assume they are. But they would give away their newsletter for 3 months where you didn't pay anything. And then if you didn't cancel it, then your credit card gets billed month after month with that. But I recommend you do a free trial because usually when you're selling continuity, people don't usually like the idea of signing up to a service on their credit card where they are going to get billed month after month. So that's why you look at doing a free trial or say a $1 trial. Okay, but you make the barrier to entry to getting started pretty low. Another way of selling your newsletter, which is quite popular, very effective, is you don't sell the newsletter, you sell a product and then you tack on the newsletter onto the end of the product. So for example, you might sell a course, and the course could be about a similar topic to your newsletter. And then on the order form, people can choose to have a free trial of the newsletter, or maybe you don't even make it an option. You have what's known as forced continuity, where you say, hey, with this course, I'm also going to make you a member of my inner circle or my insiders club. And then you tell them on the order form what it is. Now, obviously, you have to disclose the cost and everything involved, but what you're selling there is the product. That's how you're getting the interest. That's how you're getting the commitment, and then you're tacking on the newsletter. Another way you could do it is sell the product, and then you have an upsell after the order page, and the upsell talks about the newsletter. So that's how you sell it. And of course, you would just go and find a copywriter to write the sales letter. So depending on the copywriter you get, you could pay a few $100s for a good I don't know about a good sales letter, but you could pay a few $100s, you could pay a few $1,000s, you could pay a lot more. Usually with copy, you're going to get what you pay for. So I might pay a few $1,000s and then fine tune it. But It really depends what your goals are, but don't be too cheap when it comes to copy. It's worth investing the money to get a good copywriter who's proven, who's written successful ads before, and have them write your sales letter for you. Now, let's talk about content. So how do you come up with content? First of all, you don't need to write all the content yourself. I used to do that, and it was agonizing because it would take me days to write all the content, and usually it would end up taking me weeks because I would procrastinate. I would want to get it perfect. I would then have to try and do the layout in Microsoft Word and arrange all the columns and pictures, and I wasn't good at that. So after probably about a year of doing that and just being very frustrated, what I actually did is I went and hired different content writers, and I would get on a phone call with them or on Skype, and then I would give them the outline. So we might talk for an hour. Usually we would record the call. I would tell them the topics, I would have ideas just out of my head, and I would give them the topics, and then we would get that recording transcribed, and then they would take the transcription, and then they would go and write the articles, and that might take them a week to do that. They would find the photos, they would format it, make it nice, save it as a PDF, and then we would have to send that to a printing house and a mailing house. Ideally, look for a printing and mailing house where they do it together. They handle all the printing and all the mailing. Your biggest cost is usually going to be with the postage stamp, okay? But let's say you have a 20-page PDF newsletter, and it's in color with photos. You could spend, this is just off the top of my head, but let's say you spend $5 to get one printed because you're doing a few hundred copies. You might spend, I don't know, if it's in America, being sent from within America, you might spend $5, $8, I'm not sure, but maybe $10. So you might sell it for $50 or $100 a month, something like that, okay? And you'll just send them a list or a CSV, basically an Excel spreadsheet of all the customers, their names, their physical mailing addresses, which you've collected on the order form, okay? When you process the order, you send that to them in a big spreadsheet, you send them a PDF newsletter, and then they take care of the rest. They send it out. So that's how we do it. We have a mailing house and a printing house in Florida, and they've been doing our mailing for many years. I've spent well over $1 million with them on direct mail and printing and all of that. And then to add more value to the newsletter, you can think about adding in audio interview. It depends who you hire as for the cost, but you could be looking at a few $1,000s to more than $5,000 a month. But if you have hundreds of people paying you $50 or $100 or $200 or more per month, then it can be worth it. Okay, so that's a great question. I've given you a broad overview, but that should be enough to get you started. So take action. First thing you should do, go and get the sales letter done, because you want to come up with the concept of what you're going to be selling. Come up with all your promises, and then you go and make sure you meet them with the content. All right, speak soon. See you tomorrow.